Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We are Random Encounter Productions. I'm Cody Stone. With me tonight, we have
Megan, and I'm playing Sarai Landir, the Eladrin Glamour Bard. I'm never first.
I'm Eric, and I'm playing Sirach, the Eric Hakra Horizon Walker Ranger.
Howdy y'all, this is Maz. I'll be playing Talroth Oakenblade, the Wood Elf Scout.
And I'm Kez, and I'm going to be playing Treasure, the Tiefling Fighter.
awesome. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Couple of quick announcements we want to go over for everybody before we get into tonight's adventure. First of all, we want to say thank you to Norse Foundry, our sponsors for this RPG, Norse Foundry. They are tremendous friends of the channel. They do They do premium aluminum precision cut dice as well as gemstone dice. Their products are absolutely phenomenal. Big fans of everyone here on the channel. Here's a beauty blog right there. Look at that. Look at that opal. Check them colors out. Good job, camera, focusing on my face and not the dice. Nicely done. They have a lot of really awesome stuff. If you head on over to their website, you can use the promo code REPRPG, R-E-P-R-P-G, and that'll get you 15% off of your order. And when you're talking their premium dice, you're talking dice sets that are up in the $100 range. And so, sometimes you think, 15% off, that's not a lot. But actually, with the Norse Foundry stuff, it goes quite a ways. So big fans of theirs. Definitely check them out and use the promo code REPRPG, R-E-P-R-P-G. Other than that, I'm going to pass it off to Megan, who's going to tell you about the archives.
Hey, so on Thursdays at 7:30, myself and Eric, we host the archives where we deconstruct and chat about everything that happens on game Monday nights. Sometimes we have guests from the cast. We've already had Mars. A couple weeks ago, we had Carlos. Last week, it was myself and Mr. Stone flying solo, chatting all things DMing. So this week, we're gonna chat some more about exactly what goes down. Tonight, we answer any and all of your questions, be they about D&D, about art, about role-playing, our campaign, anything you got. Drop us a line and we will answer it. So that's Thursday nights at 7:30. Woo!
Yeah.
Whoop.
Good times with that. And the last thing I will say is that this week we have our first adventure Wednesday night, Through the Breach. It's going to be a ton of fun. It's a new RPG system for us. It's from Weird Games. It's based on the Malifaux Minis game. Really weird, but very interesting world. It's a ton of fun. I am super excited to dive into it. So, I think that's all the business. Have I forgotten anything? Everybody looks like they're happy with me. Awesome. We're going to keep going. So, our adventure takes place in the lands of Licht-Dracht. They're lands of myth, they're lands of legend, lands where, given the proper tool, your fate may be written in the blood of your enemies. Our heroes are the Archivists. They are members of the Magnus Exploratorium, a branch of the Republic of the Black Gem, here doing research, both anthropological and archaeological, to discover the secrets of this strange new land. Currently, they were on a continent-wide trek across the wilds and great plains of Licht-Dracht. And they were just about to head to one of the Warden's towers when they made contact with their friend, the proprietor, I suppose is the best way to put it, of the expedition they were hired to be bodyguards for. They had since split up about a month past. And they discovered that the expedition had come under attack some of its members had been taken hostage, and so they just executed a daring, secretive rescue under the cover of night, freeing them from a hobgoblin encampment some 3 days from the attack site. And they have been traveling through the woods since. They've discovered a few things on their way out. One, it appears that only 2 of the students and expeditionary force died. Nobody died after the initial attack. They were individuals that were killed during the initial attack, and the bulk of their equipment was taken from them. And knowing from a well-spaced casting of locate object that the mystical chess set, one that Sarai Landier has been engaged in a battle of gaming wits since the early days of her campaign here, was not in the Hobgoblin camp. And there is, I'm sure that causes her some slight distress, maybe a mild perturbance, nothing, nothing major, of course. Before we regroup everybody back together, we're gonna say you guys are 1 day traveling back through the woods, escaping from the Hobgoblin encampment. You guys do know that there are patrols, there are Hobgoblin and Bugbear efforts to sort of capture and reclaim your prizes and things like that. Is there anything you guys would like to do on your way back to meet up with your friends? This is specifically for Sirach and Saride.
Are we in a place where I can have a conversation with Wyatt? And are we safe enough, or do we need to keep pressing on?
It is so you guys are traveling as fast as you can. You know it's going to be a few days through the woods. So I guess the question is, are you going let me rephrase. Make medicine checks for me.
Wish Talroth was here.
Hey. Okay.
22.
22.
Hey, look at you guys. Nicely done. Nicely done. So the captives that are traveling with you guys are malnourished, and they're not terribly, they're not well rested. None of them. One of the things that you piece together, they're sleep deprived. They were never allowed to sleep for more than a couple of hours at a time, because a number of them were spellcasters, and the easiest way to prevent a spellcaster from being able to cast spells is prevent them from resting. So they're malnourished, they are sleep deprived. They will have trouble traveling at great speeds, but because Sirach is an ranger of the wood and is able to keep people moving at pace using rangery tricks and doing their best to cover tracks and things along those lines, you guys should be able to make it to them in the same 3-day trek that you had made away from your friends. Now it's up to you if you want to press forward and try to get the group to travel like through the night and stuff like that. If not, you guys can have a conversation during one of those longer campings.
Sirach, what do you think?
Where at this point, we were, correct me if I'm wrong, we were a couple of hours away from the camp before we heard them yell.
Yeah, you guys had made about 3-4 hours. Roll me a d8.
Six.
We'll say that we're picking up with you guys about 6 hours later. The bolstered by the sudden opportunity to be free and the adrenaline that carried them, the group was willing and able to travel that first 8 hours at pace, and you've stopped now for at least an hour, at least a short rest, right? And you're looking over the refugees, the captees, and you're seeing now their state, right? And so this is sort of decision time for you guys.
Let me fly up into the trees.
Okay.
Towards the canopy and see if I can get like an idea. Do I see like any remnants or any ideas of a hunting party headed towards us, or am I?
Make a perception check.
Oh crap! 19 again. Okay. 19 plus 6 for 25.
19 plus 6 for a 25. It is late. Your dark vision only extends 60 feet. Make me a survival check to go with this check that you just
And
made.
since it's in the woods, I get double my proficiency bonus.
Nicely done. Sounds good.
Which I will need. So that's 9 plus 6 plus another 3. So it's 9 plus 9 for 18.
Okay. You've done a pretty decent job of covering your tracks. You've done a pretty decent job of not traveling in straight line, traveling over roots and gnarled things, and splitting up tracks, of performing all these sort of small hunter tricks to divert attention away from your party and your actual destination. You guys aren't traveling back along the same line that you traveled to the camp. You're taking a slightly circumvented route. You feel good that you could take a long rest now, and probably won't be set upon in the middle of the night, or in the middle of the rest. However, you know that means tomorrow you guys will either have to travel twice as fast or twice as long to keep a good distance between you and your hunters.
But that's something that I conceivably can convince that I can get them to do, or like with my rangeriness.
Yeah, I mean,
and with them having well rested.
It's possible. It is theoretically possible. Yeah.
All right, I'll come back down to the ground floor.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty sure that we don't. I mean, they're coming after us, but it looks like we're definitely ahead of them right now. We could probably take a long rest and let them sleep, but that means that if we did that tomorrow morning, we'd be hitting the ground running, and we'd be having to go real fast tomorrow.
Do we think they could actually get some sleep?
They look haggard.
So do I, but I can't sleep more than 3 hours at a time.
Well, they are struggling to stay awake, as is. It is a statement to how they've been treated, that the hard canopy floor and the frozen. Let me rephrase. It's late fall, so it's not quite fully winter, but the ground is still frostbitten, and that it says something that the bed of fall leaves and pine needles that they're gathering together is comfortable for them.
Then let's let him get some rest.
Okay. You guys settle in as best you can. No campfire, because it would draw too much attention at this point in the night. You have your other allies with you to help you take watches. Which are spread out throughout the evening. So if you would like to have a conversation with Wyatt in this environment, you can. You do not.
It can wait. He
Okay.
needs sleep.
Okay. Sounds good. Roll me a percentile, please. Both of you.
Ten.
21.
Fancy.
Yes.
Fancy.
My role is old enough to drink alcohol legally.
Wow. Megan's hit double digits, so.
Mine is this man.
Mhm. You guys keep a sharp watch throughout the night. I'm going to say you're pretty confident that the night passes without incident, but I will say that you guys get very little rest.
Yeah.
I would like you to make Constitution saving throws to try to stave off exhaustion at this point.
Hey, natural 20 for a 20 plus 2 for a 22.
Okay.
6.
Okay. Right. So you are feeling the effects of exhaustion. You have 1 point of exhaustion. Durak, you do not.
But we haven't long rested to like replace our spells or anything.
Nope. No, you have not.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So, the next morning, you guys, as soon as a complete rest is finished for the group at large, you get people up and you get them moving. I'm gonna switch to this. A little more tension.
It's literally the scene after Minds of Moria.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Entirely.
So, you guys are up. The crows are cawing in the distance, mocking.
Going
you.
around to everyone's little makeshift campsites and just come on.
Yeah,
We gotta go.
yeah.
go.
They are up and moving. I would like you to make a survival check to navigate and obscure your path through these woods.
Oh my god, I'm never not using this dice again. If I ever claim to use a different dice, it's just the wrong dice. So that's going to be 17 plus 9 for 26.
Okay. Sounds good. You guys make a good day's worth of travel through you. The capties start out great. They fade in the later portion of the day, having received you guys are splitting what meager trail rations you were able to carry in your backpacks between you. You guys are, it's difficult. That's all there is to it. The end of the second day, Sirach, you feel like you're doing a good job keeping everybody, keeping them off your trail. Same decision. Do you guys press on through the night, or do you stop and rest? You're about 1 day from meeting up with the rest of your party.
I'm going to say push it.
Same.
I'll push it real good. Ow!
Oh, sounds good. Okay. One more percentile roll from each of you, please.
18.
67.
Okay. Sounds good. And another survival check from our first Constitution saving throws for both of you guys.
Oh my god, a natural 20 again. I swear. Oh, wow. Yeah, never switch it. This is my dice now. It gets its own little seat and everything.
16.
16's enough. Yeah, you save with 16. And then Sirach, I need you to make your survival check, please.
Okay, well, that was bound to happen.
I still have
17.
the one. Fuck off. I still have the one level, right?
Yes, you do. Yeah. What was your result, Eric?
17.
17. Okay. You can see you can't see them exclusively, but you see the results of 30 plus people marching through the woods. They're not exactly on your tail, but they are definitely heading back in the direction of the initial attack site.
Yeah.
Your group had planned to meet north of there, so they were not immediately in that way. Okay.
Yeah.
And so after another hard day's travel through the woods and just into the forest line, you guys see your 3 wagons, not the rest of the caravan, but the rest of your party immediately available. And coming out of these black woods, Halroth and Treasure, you guys had stayed behind with Olarun, I believe, and Screebers and Raven. You guys see they actually come, your friends come leading out of the wood line, bringing about a dozen, 13 refugees with them, basically. They look awful. Many of them you remember and recognize from the time that you had spent with the caravan. You had obviously seen them before. It's tough to recognize some of them. They are malnourished. Much of their clothes are torn, tattered, dirty, and it is a harrowing sight, to say the least.
Treasure's going to get past them just to get behind the whole group to make sure nobody was following them.
Mm-hmm.
And if there was anybody back there, they're going to run into her first.
Okay. Yeah, make a perception check with your...
Shride's gonna stop her.
Okay.
As best as she can. This fucking toothpick of an elf. No, Treasure, no. The whole reason you stayed behind was so they wouldn't know you were with us. Was so they wouldn't find you.
Yeah, but look at everybody.
Yes, and they look terrible, so just help us move them along. But if we lose you, then this was all for nothing.
She takes a moment, sheaths her sword, and just starts helping the people along. Like the ones that are having trouble walking, she's going to hoist them a little bit.
Yeah. Absolutely. You help pick up a few of the stragglers and move them further and further along the path, over to the wagons as you guys go. Everybody sort of gathers up. You have some supplies. The last time you had bought 30 days worth of food, if I'm not mistaken, was leaving the Centaur encampment, right? So that's 2, 3, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
I think we also had a Tyrannosaurus Rex meat.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to say that with rationing, you guys probably have enough food to feed these people for 3 days.
Okay. I mean, we could do hunting. Sirach, when you were in the forest, were you counting crows?
Yeah, there's so many of them. What? Why do you ask?
Because I'm 5. That's why. No, I'm not. 5-year-olds don't know to make weird references to counting crows.
I was like, too bad. Way back when.
Very erudite. 5 year.
Bartholomew, mother.
I am the storm.
Yeah.
We've seen animals though on our trip across, right? There's things to hunt here.
There are. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You guys can do some foraging and can do some hunting. The issue is, and Sirach, remind me of do you have a ranger specific ability that allows you to hunt and or forage for a certain number of people? I think it's like 8 or 9.
So the only thing I have is Natural Explorer.
Mm-hmm.
You remain alert or danger even when you are engaged in other. You find twice as much food while foraging, and while tracking creatures, you learn the exact number, size, and how long they've been. But that's only in my if we're in my specific terrains.
Okay. All right. And so you can stay in the woods if you want. That's up to you, really.
Yeah, if we're in the woods, I can forage, and I can do so at double the amount of what I would be able to do otherwise. But also staying in the woods is a bit of a long shot.
So what we can say is that you guys have regrouped as a party. You're looking around, you're seeing 13 more mouths to feed. You can all see the map here, right? This is where you are, just above those cross swords, this hex, and you have some decisions to make as to where you want to go. I know that you guys also wanted to have some conversations with Wyatt and or other survivors. You guys are welcome to have those. We'll say that with the entire party here, for at least the time, you don't want to spend more than a rest here. You'll need to get moving. But for now, you feel confident that you are safe.
Well, if that's the case, if we're gonna stay here for a minute, I'm gonna forage.
I mean, well, you guys have traveled. I'm gonna say that you've been foraging just to give them enough food to keep moving, food and water through the woods.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
And you've just traveled 16 hours straight, essentially. Right? You took the one long rest. You traveled 8 hours. You pushed on another 8. So if you do anything other than rest now, I'm gonna need another exhaustion check.
All right, then in that case, I'll vote for rest.
Before she goes to sleep, though, she's gonna cast Fog Cloud in the edge of the forest where they came out of.
Okay. A thick fog sort of rolls in and amongst the trees, lifting up about 20 feet. The wind isn't particularly rough tonight, so it settles well, obscuring visibility into and out of the forest in that area. Okay. Is there anything you guys wanted to do? So you guys, those two go to sleep. Treasure, Talroth, is there anything you guys wanted to do?
At least for me, just helping, just get everybody in, just kind of looking around and just, oh boy, there's gonna be some shit. Oh boy. So if it comes to taking watch, I'll just climb up the nearest tree and just hide up there to do my watch.
Okay.
Treasure's gonna be making sure that all the folks that came in are as comfortable as possible. She's been oddly silent, oddly composed. One of those, like, she feels an immense amount of guilt for everything that has befallen the folks of the caravan.
Okay. So, the night passes. You guys have to wake up exceptionally early. You do get your full rest, but you're up before the rest of the camp. Because I need you as a party to make decisions as to your heading.
So, at this point, we're out of food in 3 days. And I'm looking here on the map, and I don't see 3 days travel bringing us anywhere to rations.
Well, we didn't see Castle Diabolique there either.
I mean, yeah, we could go in a direction and hope.
I mean, I think one big question is, do we need to keep hightailing it fast and hope to find something on the way, or do we have a day to kind of hunt around for something?
I don't think we have a day. I think we've got to go if we're wherever we're going to go.
If we have to hightail it and kill something along the way, that's probably how it's going to have to be. Fast food and go.
So we just start headed to the Warden's Tower like we were planning on and just kind of hope we run into something?
It's us. We're probably going to run into something.
You're probably not wrong.
Cody, answer me that because I can't see anything. Don't get old, kids. It's not fun. So next to the pit, going to the there's
the
that
Fortress of the Abyss.
the Fortress of the Abyss to the west, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
What is that little dot thing?
This thing?
That's the castle, if I'm not
Big
mistaken.
dot. Is that Diabolique?
Yep. That's Castle Diabolic.
Saying it weird, but okay. And we're the X, right?
You
Or
are
the-
just above it. You are just above it, right here.
The X is, if I'm not mistaken, where the attack happened.
That is correct. The X is where the attack happened. Let me see if I can get you guys a little wagon stamp.
Please.
So, looking for a wagon.
Dragon. Wagon.
Looking for a wagon. No, that's not what I want. Stop that. Show me the options.
If someone had ever told my 8-year-old self, one day, Megan, you're gonna play Oregon Trail, but you're gonna be an elf, I would have fucking peed on them. This is dope.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Well, at least we have lesser restoration to deal with all the dysentery.
It's true. Does help with the dysentery.
Yes, it does.
boats. Do we have a wagon? No, just boats. Apparently you only travel by boat in the fantasy world, never by wagon.
That's why we're going so slow.
That's why. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's messing you up. I think I can find you guys a horsey. Yeah, we'll get you a little unicorn maybe. Yeah.
I mean, I am accepting of a land yacht if that's the case.
I appreciate it. We'll give you guys a little horsey here.
We can be Bobby from Cougarton, who lives in a boat.
Yes,
In the
on
parking lot.
land. Yep. Oh, no.
No,
So-
but seriously, unicorn is fantastic.
That is where you
So what-
currently are.
So we want to get going then, yes?
I think we need to.
Do we want to try to head somewhere that we know has food? Like, not the centaur camp, obviously. Maybe the towers, or
I mean, if we got things chasing us, heading to the towers. If them hobgoblins are dumb enough to follow along, that'll be a problem for them later.
okay.
Sorry, I'm just watching Cody count days to Shayla Ren versus the Warden's Tower.
13 versus 14.
Nah.
Well,
Is there some kind of check that maybe Sirach and I can make to maybe figure out what kind of things we could come across as food? Like, if we know there's, I don't know, deer or bear or boars or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I will take. We'll do this as a 3-check challenge. Okay. The options are survival, nature, and history. Okay. There is no fail condition. I'm gonna have you guys. One of you make survival. One of you make nature, and one of the other two, the ladies, can make history or flip those. You assign them however you want. But the question will remain, and depending on how many successes of the 3 you get, will determine how much information I have to pass on.
So Sirach, which one do you want, nature or survival?
Oh, I'm definitely gonna choose survival.
All right, I'll go nature unless Sarai or Treasure want to do it.
Saride, would you like to do history, or shall I hope that Professor Treasure is in today?
She has a 5.
Then Professor Saride it is.
teacher's assistant at best.
Are these checks, since we're helping each other out, flat rolls or advantage?
I will say, since Treasure is available to help one person, she can give advantage to one person. That is up to her.
Considering knowing Treasure's skill set, honestly, she's probably gonna be most handy at history.
Okay.
Halleloops.
He went from a 3 to a nat 20. Thank you. It's a 20.
Professor Treasure.
Woo! 25.
Okay.
That's 17. Are we technically in the forest still?
I will say no. You're on the
Then
edge.
that is.
Well, I think this is a decision for you guys to make. Are you planning on traveling through the forest? Or are you planning on traveling through the plains?
Plains.
Plains.
So then we're specifically looking at the plains.
All right, then that's 17 plus 6 for a 23.
Okay, 23. What was your Saride? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Natural 20 for a 25.
Nice. Okay. And Talroth?
That is a 22 on nature.
Wow. You guys did very, very well through all of those. So looking through types of animals that you guys piece together, no singular piece of lore, really. It's a wide variety of them. You know that there are some giant lizards around here, some dinosaurs, but it is unlikely that this late into the year they're going to be this far north. You suspect that they're going to be further south or migrating south. Okay. Other things that you can expect up in here: bears, black and brown bears, bloodhawks, boars, deer, dire wolves are definitely going to be up in this area. You might run into some elk, giant boar, giant badgers. Snakes are probably getting your hibernation time or are further south, right? Elk, fire beetles are sort of a year-round threat because they provide their own heat and they set their own stuff on fire. But you don't know if they're terribly prevalent. They occasionally happen in this area. They're not really a danger. They're not really food, though, either. More just pain, to be honest. Spiders, they're going to be an issue. Giant vultures, giant weasels, wolf spiders, rats, lizards, goats, regular-sized goats. Anything I've said giant probably comes with a regular variant as well. Raven and or crows. Primal tigers. Primal tigers are also something that happens up around here. Like a saber-toothed tiger sort of thing.
Okay.
I'm hearing a lot of edible food.
You do know it's getting close to winter, so a lot of these things are either hunting for storage for the winter, or they are desperate or migratory. So, or planning on hibernating.
So all these things are either going to be doing what we're doing, or they're going to be easy pickings. That ain't so bad.
So we want to try.
I mean, we don't have much of a choice. If we don't try, we all starve.
All right then, let's get going.
Okay.
I start breaking up the 13 as they look like they can be more well rested into buried duty, and how to locate and find proper food sources.
Okay. So, you guys begin to travel west. I am going to flip over here for me. I'm going to grab this. Stuff it. Come here with me. So, you're moving. Do you want to stay near the forest, or do you want to get a day's distance from it?
I think get a day's distance. Like, I don't want to starve, but that it'll at least put a day between us and that raiding party.
Depending on where they pop out at, yeah. All right, yeah, I'll agree with that. A day's distance away.
All right.
Not to mention, we've got 13 people with probably hardcore amounts of PTSD. The less we can have just flashing memories of that one place that they got tortured in, maybe for the best. Maybe it cuts down on the screaming at night. I don't know.
Yeah, as we're going along, if I see any birds up in the sky that are at least close enough to maybe take a few pot shots at them, definitely going to start kind of collecting early on some food.
Okay. Sounds good.
I will apologize to Sirach ahead of time in case it was a cousin.
Just 'cause we all have wings and feathers, we're related. I see how it is.
Okay. Here is what I am going to do for this. Okay? There are 4 of you. The idea here is that everyone is attempting to assist with the foraging, right? Everybody's hunting. That's just the truth, you know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll. You guys are all gonna roll survival checks, okay? Even those of you that are not proficient in survival. Here are your options. I'm gonna roll a 2 percentiles. I'm gonna take the higher of them. That's gonna set your group DC for the challenge. Okay. If you guys beat it as a team, you forage enough for the day, you are able to travel at pace. Okay? If you guys choose not to, if you don't succeed, then you can eat one of your days of rations. Again, you only have 3, right? Or you can continue to travel at pace, and the refugees will take a point of exhaustion as they are malfed for the day, right? 5 points of exhaustion, they die. So, all right. I'd like everybody to make your survival checks, please.
'22.
Nice.
25.
Nice, 47.
17.
47 and 17 gets you to 64.
64.
Treasure?
18.
18. Okay. So that's
Brings it to 82.
85. Yeah. You guys, 60 was the DC, so you guys succeed for that day, traveling at full pace. You're able to hunt in the grasslands, picking out some elk, some boar. It doesn't go as far as you want it to, because you're talking not just your 10 or so people, but the 13 people that are traveling with you. But it goes well, okay? And you guys get through the first day. You settle in for the night. If you guys are looking to talk to Wyatt, this might be the time, or if you want to wait until you get there, I suppose you can do that, but you're many weeks away, a couple of weeks away.
Yeah, I mean, Sir Wright's kind of been following him, sticking close to him, making sure he's okay, and is staying on his feet.
From what you can tell, Wyatt is he's doing his best to hold the rest of his friends together. It's only when he is alone, as best he can be, probably at night, that you can tell just how exhausted he is.
Master Wyatt, would you mind taking a walk with me for a moment?
Oh, sure. Yeah. You, he stands up, and you can tell he sort of winces, his feet hurt. As
She'll link her arm through so that she's helping him, but it looks like they're just taking a nice little stroll.
Okay. He sort of putters along as best as he can.
We get a few feet away from camp.
Mm-hmm.
She'll crisscross applesauce and ask him to sit down too, and cast tiny hut around them.
Okay.
So he can have some privacy.
Yeah, he sort of leans his back up against the wall of the hut, and you watch his muscles, I'll say relax, but the truth is they more or less give out. It's not a conscious or willing relaxation for him.
I know that this doesn't help anything, but Wyatt, I am so sorry. We were supposed to take care of you. We were supposed to protect you, and we didn't.
Yeah. I know. But I sent you away. I sent you away so I could... I don't know. So I could prove I didn't need you. Didn't need babysitters.
Even kings need babysitters sometimes. Wyatt. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I don't blame you. Let me ask you a question. Back in 4 Points, when all I could think of was getting to the forge before winter, if I had demanded that you stay with us, would you?
Well, it's a bit difficult, really. There's only one man I allow to make demands of me, and it's not you. But I might have tried.
Well, then it's not your fault. And it's mine. I should have been a good enough leader to ask for the help I needed.
Wyatt, this isn't anyone's fault but theirs.
My friends are dead.
This would have happened whether we were here or not. You had the wildlings with you. The wildlings, they're small pieces of mountain that are studded with adamantine. And they still attacked. They made it, by the way. We got a hold of Motherfucker, what's his name?
Grack.
Skull Cleaver. Yeah, we got a hold of Greg.
Hmm.
You're alive.
It's good. It's good. Those winter in those mountains is deadly.
Whether it's my fault or you think it is, or your fault or not, it doesn't matter. I am sorry that we weren't there. I'm sorry that I wasn't there for you. I've done nothing but treat you badly since the minute you breathed in my direction. And
I'm not easy to be
No.
around.
no, you're really not.
I don't really have friends. I push people away. It's a sickness, but I own up to it.
Wyatt, we came for you.
Very kind.
It's not kindness. It's what we do for each other. Because as annoying as you are, and as stubborn, and as nope, not the point, not the time. You are someone that I am proud to call an equal. And I can't finish the game without you. So I need you around. Because you're my friend, Wyatt.
It sounds very nice. You'll just have to forgive me. I'm a bit out of practice with having friends.
You get used to it. But for now, allow me to give you a small kindness. I can't leave this, but you have it for the night. And I promise not to pay any attention to you. In fact, I'll trance right now if you'd like me to. Whatever you need to get out, no one can see you. You've been putting on such a strong, brave face since we left. And I'm so impressed with you. You are the leader that these people deserve, Wyatt, but you need to break a bit. So you could do it here, and no one will see you, and no one will judge you. I promise.
He sort of nods and begins to kind of think it over. And you watch as he starts to weep. Just a little bit. His breath struggling. And every inhale is met with a stuttering release that comes with it. Oh. And he snorts hard. So hard he sort of chokes on it a little bit and coughs. And he buries his head and his eyes into the shirt that he's borrowed, probably from Clever Stitch. If we're going Tauroth, yeah, maybe, just by size, you know. And it's, as he wipes his eyes, you watch his face sort of I appreciate that, and someday I may absolutely pull up on it. But right now I think we have far bigger concerns, and I don't know what to do. I spoke with Trenton. He was one that he spoke Goblin. Did a bit of labor for them for extra rations. He saw the wagon pieces that we had collected. They collected our things from the caravan. And he says he thinks he overheard them sending it to Boschko's fullet.
Of course.
I don't know what we should do. But I know that they know we're heading for that forge. They may not know where it is. They know those mountains, or at least that we're going to those mountains. They probably have hobgoblins and forces already chasing our friends. And I don't know if we can help them. I don't know if trying to help them is the right thing, because then we're just sandwiched. We're sandwiched between them.
Breathe. Breathe.
They are clever. They are dangerous, but they are misled. And I don't want to walk into another one of their traps. And as good as I think I am at chess, I don't know the right move here.
Well, we are also clever and dangerous.
I know.
And we have business at the tower. So we're going to go there. And we're going to take care of this. Because that's what we do. And if they get in our way, we will stop them. Because that is what we do.
Right. Right.
But for now, you need to rest. It's like in chess, right? Our job is to protect the king. That's you for the moment, unfortunately. So I need you to stay put. And let the rest of us do the heavy lifting for a little while, okay?
Yeah. Of course.
Would you like to sleep here, or do you want to go back to the wagons?
No, I'd rather go back to the wagons.
All right. She'll...
Yeah. Small spaces without many people around are unsettling.
I understand.
as you lift the spell, he'll walk back to the group with you, and see him sit among some of his classmates. Some of them in comically oversized clothes, probably from Thosen or Treasure.
Thosen doesn't wear shirts.
I said clothes, not necessarily shirts. I know he has overalls. Don't lie to me.
Yes, he does.
So, some of them probably in clothes that are a little short for them, from Sirach. Some tiny vests, perhaps, or other such
I
things.
need some of them to be in fables, like sparkly, spangly,
Absolutely. Yeah.
circus shit.
Yeah. I mean, they're all in clothes that are from your wardrobes. So, yeah, absolutely. Talroth, what would you like to do?
As part of like the hunting and foraging and all that stuff, would it have been possible to maybe preserve some of the pelts of like the boars or the elk, so that way we can give it to them as like blankets or something to cover up? I know it's probably not going to be the cleanest thing, but
Something beats nothing. And you guys did some elk hunting today, so yeah, absolutely. I would say you probably want things that have any bit of fur. I don't know that boar skin is necessarily, without it being like cured and prepared, probably not going to offer a lot for like wintertime protection. But other animals that you guys come across, absolutely, yeah, that's a great idea. Yes, perfect.
Cool. And if it's possible, also like to start getting maybe like the antlers or tusks, just thinking ahead for maybe if we need to sell anything.
Okay.
Or since I know Thosen and I have both been collecting just random parts of things, maybe use them to make candles or scabbards and stuff.
Okay. I'm going to say I'll give you the things that are easy to collect, like antlers and stuff like that. You are traveling also for pace. So you probably you're not going to take time to like fat cure anything, or you know what I mean, stuff like that. But I'll start to mark down the excess that you guys make on the days that you successfully hunt, and at the end we'll calculate that into some form of selling or trading worth to it. Awesome. I would like to, because let me see here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, I'm going to start to take these days 2 at a time. Is that okay? Because otherwise, I'd rather do 6 checks than 13 checks, to be honest. So, all right, let's do another. So we'll say actually your first success got you guys to here. And hold on. Here's what I'm going to do. Actually, we're going to take this guy. We're going to put him over here. I'm going to grab this thing, my little drawy tool. Yes, there it is. So you guys traveled. Oh, Control Z. This thing here. All right, so from here you guys traveled 2 days with your successful check there, and we're going to go. Let's get another round of checks in reading order, please.
What are these? What are we?
Survival.
Rolling?
We're doing the survival foraging checks, please.
12.
Okay.
8.
23.
Nat 20 for a 21.
Okay. So the nat 20 barely gets you guys over the hump. I'm going to say there's not much to pick up on the other side. You guys are these days eating small rodents. Maybe we're talking like badgers or wolverine sizes at the biggest, but we're really talking like rats, squirrels, those sorts of maybe raccoons, those sorts of creatures coming through these 2 days.
Are we eating badgers and mushrooms?
Mushroom. Yes,
Badger.
exactly. Yes, the internet from the 2000s has come to feed you guys. It is an interesting, and it happens in a flash. But yes, let's do another check, another survival check, please. All right, what do we got?
Dirty 20.
Nice.
17.
18.
11.
35, 55, 66. Okay. Yeah, this one was a 44. So that does get you guys a little bit of overage to sort of give you some distance there. Let me get another set of checks.
18.
21.
10.
18.
Yeah, this was a 93. So, are you guys gonna dig into your ration stash to keep pace, or are you gonna slow down for these 2 days?
I say we dig into rations.
Yeah, rations.
Okay.
I will simultaneously yell at Screepers for overcooking whatever meat we found.
What? It's not overcooked! You just need bigger teeth!
Screepers, we done had this conversation multiple times. There is a difference between well done and charcoal.
You say words I don't understand!
Too much fire on the meat, we can't eat.
Alright, sounds like a you problem, but okay.
So Ride's never had that issue, but that's okay.
Alright, we're almost there. 2 more checks, so let's do this one. Ooh, 88. What do you guys got?
6.
Ooh,
17.
23.
22.
Okay.
17.
17. So that's going to end. So you used 2 rations and 1 ration. I'm going to give you the extra day, but we're going to say this is you guys being out of rations. Okay? Okay. All right. There. Last check.
I want to say that during this time, Treasure has not been able to look any of these people in the eye. She's kept very quiet, very much to herself.
Okay. Absolutely. I apologize, is there anything you guys have been wanting to do while you're traveling that I have not afforded you the opportunity to do? No is an acceptable answer. I'm kind of trying to push through the travel portion, and I don't want to skip something by accident. So,
At least for Talroth, he probably would have been just checking in on everybody, just seeing how people are doing. Probably talking to Thozen, like with some of the parts that we found, asking if this would make like a good handle, if this can make like a good leather wrap, stuff like that.
absolutely.
So yeah, just trying to be a little more social for Talroth.
Sure. Make any social skill you'd like, performance or persuasion, or I don't know. If you want to lie to him, I guess you could make deception. Probably not intimidation. I would suggest staying away from that one, but it's up to you.
No, fuck it. Try it. I want to watch this.
Well, every single one of those skills you mentioned is going to be at a -1, so
Okay.
I rolled a 2. So that's a total of a 1.
Ooh. Okay. You are thoroughly unsettling, my friend. Thoroughly, thoroughly unsettling. But you know what? They appreciate the effort. You are not the worst company they've had in recent days.
Man, I don't know how many, just kind of talking to myself now. I keep telling them, words are damn hard. Ugh.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else? Last check. Let's do it. Okay.
Yeah. 6.
21.
Dirty 20.
15.
Okay. That gets you guys past 60. Nicely done. You guys are going to make it to the southern side of this warden's tower. And that is where we are going to take our break for tonight. So, we're going to take a break. We're going to be back in, I'm going to say 15, 20 minutes. I actually have to run outside and do something to fix the AC in here because it got warm. So, I'll see you guys in just a few minutes. Thanks for hanging out. But until we are back, stay tuned. It's not what you see so much, but what you hear. In between the rolls of thunder come this sort of flapping of wings. Into the third watch, it grows all the closer.
All thinking of what's going to happen, and it's a long journey. There's a lot of things that could happen. A lot of things could go wrong.
Yeah.
But we were thinking, who is the best at knowing when something is wrong?
Who is the best at
getting
knowing
out.
when something is wrong? Who?
It's you.
It's
you.
me? It's
Yeah.
Screamers?
Screamers, that's how you've been alive as long as you have been.
That's true. That is. Screamers is very good at being alive. I
Yeah.
have been being alive my whole life.
Your whole life. Longer than me, actually.
That's true. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, I tell you a secret. You have to come close, though.
He kind of like moves close, but very aware that Screamers is just covered in
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Now,
all the
kiss.
gore.
There was actually 2 minutes Screamers was not alive. Was a draft.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm having to switch buttons for things. So I don't know when, I don't know how, but Call of Cthulhu's coming right now. Or very soon, probably in 2 weeks, once I get the books.
That is, somebody's got to clip that. That's the best announcement we've ever had on this.
Not great individual. Such a mighty power may yet still be yours.
So here's something real fucking dick.
Oh shit! Megan! No, there's more! I had more! No, come back!
That timing, though, was perfect.
Oh god, please come back. There's more.
The universe will rectify itself.
Exactly. A couple of rolls, really.
I'm going to take advantage of this brief moment then, and I'm not going to feel bad about telling you all that in my head I was singing, "It's a Centaur Tent City." It's a suffragette city. Centaur Tent City. Because you said it, and it's the right number of syllables, so everybody please sing that.
Okay.
I broke Carlos. Yes!
I'm never going to unhear it.
I know.
You guys don't think that Superman couldn't hide himself with a pair of glasses? I challenge you to look at Zoe Deschanel without bangs and tell me if that's the same person. Because it's not. It's not. Thank you, Eric. Do it. I want to see this reaction. I'm stopping a game to watch a man have a reaction. There's a whole YouTube channel for this. That's right. That's
no.
Yes.
That's great. No.
Yeah.
You remember how you used to say that, like, I don't understand how people could be so dumb and not realize, like, who Superman is? Now you're like, all right, maybe they kind of have a point.
I'm putting this in the chat. This is...
We're all fine with this.
I mean, no, I was just saying that we were... That
Not you, dipshit. I want the rest of them to start talking.
I was just saying that that's
Any
what
of
we
the
were
rest of you
discussing.
that aren't giant like fucking meat shields and punch things for a living, you smarty spellcaster fucks. Y'all have nothing to say about this?
I am
Surfing down
a
the fucking-
smarty spellcaster, too.
You are many things. Bevanos, you are many things. We're going to get to those later.
He's making that face!
That's 13 points of damage.
That's showtime on the dragon.
We are hunting dragons.
You so much.
He's just doubling down on that.
Oh man!
Don't clip this. Don't clip it at all.
Can I
Yeah,
can I?
Yeah, please. If you guys would like to make a history check, you're welcome to.
Well, it was a 20 and then shifted to 2, so 4.
I nat 20.
Nice.
I was gonna say.
Is this the first nat 20 of the game?
Yeah.
Treasure!
Wait, are we doing a Feywild history?
I mean, I feel like...
Or a history check on these people.
Yeah. I feel like the first nat 20 of the...
Does Screamers get paid?
100%, yes, of course.
Oh, I get 100% of everything? Oh,
No,
wow.
no, no.
Oh,
No, no,
wow.
no, no.
That
No,
is
no, no, no.
so
No.
much.
Screamer.
Whatever you want.
Screamers
Screamers.
Screamers feels very responsible now for everything. That is so much money. Oh,
Screamers?
Oh, no. Oh, excuse me. Screamers needs a moment. Screamers needs a moment.
Getting back in the tauntaun.
It's okay, Screamers. It's okay. You can do this. They all depend on you, but you have been preparing for this your entire life. You will take them away from the water. You will clean them. You will see them to victory. And then you will have the treasure, much like Dragon Hoard. Yes, Dragon Hoard. Then they will know.
Vicious. A foe. As any in the land of dragons ever faced. At best, you might bargain with her. At worst, well, not much more to be said. avatars of this land. They are engaged in a wicked, wicked game and plays on this continent. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back. We are Random Encounter Productions. I'm Cody Stone. With me tonight, we have...
I'm Megan. I'm playing Sarai Landir, the Eladrin Glamour Bard.
I'm Eric, and I'm playing Sirach, the Arakakra Horizon Walker Ranger.
Howdy, y'all. This is Maz. I'm playing Talroth Oakenblade, the Wood Elf Scout who has 0 social skills.
And I'm Kez, and I'm going to be playing Treasure, the Tiefling Fighter.
Okay. When last we left our heroes, they were traveling across the great grasslands of Lickdracht and struggling to forage for food as they were making an effort to feed all of these captured individuals that they had just rescued from a hobgoblin encampment. You guys are now just one day south of the Warden's Tower. You guys can see this is the route that you traveled. There you go. Little loop-de-loo up there. That's fine. And hey, look, there's your little pony horse. Alicorn, whatever. Sort of.
Pony!
Exactly. There is your pony. Is there anything you guys would like to do before approaching the Warden's Tower?
So this is where Grax, Skullcleaver, and all them. That's where everyone was trying to get to, right?
Yes? I mean, it's not the Forge, but this is the first stop on the way.
No, when we were talking with them on the, I thought when we were talking with them, they were headed this way. When we said
they were already at the Forge.
They had passed this, and they were in the mountain range.
Thank you. But we do know that there are people in here, right? Yeah?
Yes.
Just smoke from the tower.
There is as smoke in the way that a fire might have, but not a, like, it's not on fire, like a cooking chimney.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Whilst we've been traveling every night before we go to bed, or whatever for sleep watches stuff, Sarai has been braiding Treasure's hair, and like combing it through. She hasn't really been pushing her to talk, but that's her bestie, so she knows she's not feeling so hot. So she just plays with her hair, just girly things.
Which Treasure really appreciates. She's been keeping to herself. Normally she's a very jubilant bundle of chaos and gold, let's be completely honest. And the fact that nothing has blown up, there's still actually alcohol, and is probably kind of a bad sign.
Oh my god, you and Talroth have been sober for the last, 12, 13 days? Oh god. Hey, Treasure. You okay?
There's a long pause as Treasure's just kind of fiddling with one of the hairs that's over here, and she's braiding it herself, kind of to keep her hands busy. If I said yes, would you believe me?
If you said yes, would you like me to go away?
No. I'm used to being the only one that suffers when I do stupid shit. I'm used to, well, maybe Talroth. Talroth suffers sometimes. But most of the time, when I do something dumb and it bites me in the ass, it's because I did something dumb. This time, I did something dumb. And it has bitten 13 people. No, 15 people, because there's 2 that died in the ass.
What did you do?
I ran away from a wedding.
But you didn't want to get married and you don't know who he is.
All true. But you and I, Sarai, are well aware that that doesn't matter when your family makes more than a certain amount of money. You're not a person, you're a bargaining chip. A wedding is not so much about fairy tales and romance as it is a business proposal.
But that wasn't stupid, Treasure. Running away from that wasn't stupid.
I'm not sure 15 people would agree with you.
You didn't kill them. You didn't kill them. You didn't steal the others. They did. The goblins. Maybe the Pale Brothers too. And I know that you're going to say that it's your fault because you ran away and your parents hired them to track you down. But this isn't your fault.
It's hard to think that way. You see, something I've never liked about being a noble in general is that a lot of people would say, because my mother and father fucked, I matter more than someone like Talroth. And I've never ever believed that. We matter the same. A bum on the street matters the same as me. We both are born the same way, and we both end up 6 feet under. And I really don't like the idea that 13 people had to suffer, and nobody's really gonna care that they had to suffer or that 2 people died. Just because I decided I didn't want to marry somebody I don't know.
Well, then we could fix this right now. We could just turn you over. We could sail back to Jalen. We can get you married.
Just saying, we need the money.
I have been thinking about it. I sat there thinking, should I turn myself in? I mean, from the moment the Pale Brothers attacked all of you, from the moment I saw Olaroon hit the ground, I sat there and asked myself, is adventure worth it? Is adventure worth watching people potentially die because some asshat wants to put a ring on my finger?
Is that all this life means to you? It just gets boiled down to those negative moments of Olaroon hitting the ground and Wyatt bruised and battered? What about traveling with Talroth, meeting Talroth in the first place? Or me? Or drinking games? Or learning how to fight like a fucking badass and get a new armor and seeing all the places and things that we've seen? What about all that? Isn't that worth anything?
It's worth so much. You all are worth so much. And that's what makes me wonder, do I want to put you all in danger so that I don't have to marry someone I don't know?
Do you really think that you are the biggest threat that we've been facing? Or even those brothers are? Please, we all knew what we signed up for. So did those 15. They knew that this was going to be dangerous, and they came anyway because they wanted to. because the adventure was worth it, because the forge was worth it. They believe that still, because not one of them has asked to turn around. Not even Wyatt.
Not even Wyatt?
Not even Wyatt. Treasure, this is not your fault. This is the Hobgoblins, and this is the Brotherhood. I feel like some of it's your parents. This is not a sane or measured response to what you did. But this is not you. And none of us want you gone. None of us want you unhappy or married to something that we've not met. We don't know what sort of man he is, or if any of us would get along with him, which is really the most important thing here.
I mean, absolutely. You all have basically become my family.
The family takes care of each other. And this wasn't stupid. Suggesting a strip poker game to a beholder, that was maybe stupid. And yes, it turned out all right. And it was one of your more brilliant moments. That I'd put squarely in the stupid column. But not wanting to subject yourself to a life of servitude just because of what you were born with between your legs, that's not stupid, Treasure. That was the smartest thing you could have done. You would have been miserable. And then what?
Easily.
Then what? All of that rage that you have, all of that strength, that power, do you really think that it would have just stayed dormant? Or do you think you would have taken it out on him, or your servants, or your family, or worse, even yourself? You're saving people here. 4 points would agree. You're a damn hero, Treasure. You always have been. You just had to leave Jalen to be able to wear it fully. This is where you belong. And yes, sometimes people fall. But that's part of being a hero. You have to wear all of it, the good and the bad. But you can, because you're strong enough. Because you're Treasure fucking Nightcrafter. And there is not a damn thing in this world or any of the others that you can't defeat. I've yet to see it.
Treasure takes a big sigh and she just grabs Sarai, just thunk into armor, and starts bawling.
Oh, ow, 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 ow. Very delicate elf. Ow. My sternum, no!
My sweet, pretty sternum.
Hey, Sirach, you hear something like hitting metal pretty hard?
Yeah, with my passive, I definitely hear it. Oh, I'm sure it's all right. Just followed by hearing sobs. Yeah, it's probably fine.
I love you, darling. We all do.
And I love you so much. And I'm not going anywhere.
I know, that wasn't up for debate.
If Owen Duskwood wants me, he's gonna have to come get his bride himself. And I'll still tear him from taint to top knot if he dares to lay a finger on any of you.
Ooh, don't threaten me with a good time. Now, if you don't, she's gonna reach for the bit that you were braiding and fix it. Just redo it.
Oh, it probably looks awful.
Do you feel better?
I do.
Good.
I want to try to check on Wyatt, on the others.
Give him a little bit of time, but yeah,
I should probably do some trolls just in case.
I mean, I assumed that you were. Just because I didn't want you heading into the woods with your tits out didn't mean that you weren't taking watches. I'm sorry. If you've just been sleeping for the last 13 days. Treasure.
No. I've been sitting on the caravan with my sword out because I'm not allowed in the woods. It's been like tiefling timeout. It has not been fun.
It's not timeout. You just have to be... We have to be smarter than they are. And they're very smart. Not just the hobgoblins or the brothers. Everything we're going up against now. We have to be at our best. Our best is definitely good enough.
Oh boy, I should tell you about my family then if you're talking about smart. I'm the dumb one. I am definitely the dumb one.
There's nothing stupid about you at all. Except your dummy thick ass. But other than that...
That's why
she turns a second to make sure Talroth isn't going to bounce a quarter off it again.
Olrun just shows up out of nowhere. Hey!
So, Talroth.
Yeah? What's up, Zorak?
How's that training going with what I've been showing you?
It's been coming along. Had to make a couple of adjustments to make sure it worked a little better for me.
Adjustments?
Well, you see, the whole, like... I can't dance like a bird. I got the build for that, so I had to make a couple minor adjustments for my own two-leggedness to make it work better.
Well, let's see what you got. And he's gonna pull out a small apple that he's been saving that he picked from a tree and just right on top of his head.
You fucker, you had food this whole time.
Let's go.
You are so lucky I'm braiding someone's hair right now. Oh, man.
If I had a quarter the amount of times I heard that.
All right. Yeah, this is had to start making a few more adjustments on this, so forgive the footwork, because yeah, all the stuff with the centaurs definitely brought a couple things to light. So here's what I got. All right, so running that performance check real fast. Okay, that's a total 10. Probably not the worst thing ever.
It's actually a pretty, I mean, for you, it's great. But for, it's an average dance. Zorak, you've seen better, you've seen worse. But yeah, it's pretty good for Talroth.
All right, and at least taking the short bow out to try to take a shot at that apple. Yeah, that's a dirty 20.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, actually, maybe you might know something about this now that I'm thinking about it. So I'll pull the double-bladed out and just kind of sit down near the fire and lay it between us.
Yeah.
So at least with this very fine copy that Thozen made, despite what the giant ass of a centaur called it, at least with the half of it that he has, the greater wind. That's what he called it, the greater wind, or the greater gale, and I gotta find the lesser wind. Man, words are confusing. Sorry, but it is a bit of a strange thing, because listening to their music, how their tempo, their beat, rhythm, and all that goes, and started trying to match up some of my old training to it. Some of it worked out well, others not so much. I mean, and even thinking about you going back to the dancing, is there something to it?
Well, I mean, with my jig, it's more of a connection between the beat that is in nature, the hum of life that is all around you. It's kind of what I like delve into, and if these centaurs, they seem to be kind of primal creatures, and from what we can tell, they seem connected to nature very well. So I wonder if maybe that has something to do with the training, because elves also obviously very connected with magic, but wood elves very connected with nature as well. So maybe there is like a bond, some sort of natural bond between what they were doing, what you've been taught, and heck, what I end up doing. I mean, mine's a little bit more plainer, but even still, it's all natural.
I'll just kind of take that in the thought for a second. I mean, that does make sense. I mean, I ain't got much of a mind for magic. So I try learning little bits here and there, but yeah, that didn't work out too well. But something that I'm a little, I don't want to say worried because that's a bit too strong of a word, but maybe concerned about. Do you think I can beat him?
Well, I mean, having never met him, I don't know if I could answer that succinctly, but I can say as a point of order, chances are he'd never see you. 30% of the time, I'm not sure you're actually here.
Sirach, I'm sitting behind you.
Son of a, see, that's what I'm talking about, okay? Like, there's not exactly, like, with that cloak, man, I'm telling you, there are times where I forget your existence.
She's braiding Treasure's hair and just, why is Sirach talking to himself?
Talroth is right there. Oh yeah, you guys keep losing him.
But from what you've told me, he's good with a sword, and he's a bit of a, and he slings some spells, right?
Kind of like get ready to start for a second, then wait, are we talking about the big old Santa who's got the half of the sword that I'm looking for, or are we talking about the jackass who shall not be named, who has the other sword?
Well, we need to get that one first before we could even go for the Greater Gale.
Well, just start rubbing my temples.
Look, as much as I love you, Talroth, and I want to help you out in all your future endeavors and whatnot, I am not pissing off an entire species. I piss people off at times, it's happened before, but I'm also cute and cuddly and I can't take a hit very well. So, like, making myself an enemy to every centaur in the plains just doesn't seem like it's something I want to do too bad. So I think we should maybe kind of follow their customs on this one.
Oh, which I am all for you with. I am in total agreement on this one. But, I mean, we are going to get that sword from Cass. But I'm already working on a plan for that one. So, in any case, what I mean is the big old centaur that when I show up with the lesser wind, chances are that might have to be a one-on-one. And that's me hoping for something, just because if we have to take on him and some buddies of his, that might be a little rough. I'm just trying to figure out what the hell and if I can beat him.
Well, I'll put it in a slightly more
slightly more esoteric answer then. Do you believe these swords are your family's? And by extension, yours?
I'll just pick up the double bladed between us, just kind of like check the weight of it, just kind of twirl it around a little bit. Well, that's going to be the shit in the cereal right there, because the one that's back home, I don't even know if that was the real one.
I'll say this much. I think you can beat him. But if you're fighting him for the wrong reasons, if you're fighting him to gain back some, to prove you're better than that other one or any of those things, it'll be a tough fight. I think it's something you can do, but I think you need to make sure you're doing it for the right reasons.
At this point, I don't even know what the hell the right reason is. Hell, I don't even know why I want to challenge them, son of a bitch.
Aha! See, now we've come to the good part of this question. Not that I have an answer to it, but it's a good part. It's a good question to be asking.
Well, at least, first off, definitely got to find this, find my brother and deal with him. And whatever other mess of his I gotta clean up afterwards. Yeah, I got a few questions for him.
Maybe they'll have some answers in the Warden's Tower.
Maybe they'll have some good food in the Warden's Tower. Getting a little tired of Velk and Badger.
God bless.
Night passes. Each of you have the closest thing you have to a good rest in many days. And with the next morning's light, you continue to travel towards the Warden's Tower. The Warden's Tower of the North. It is a tall beacon that you've been able to see on the horizon for at least the last day, probably two. At night, the lights of it are comforting glow of warm amber, rich orange. And just before dawn, right after dusk, you can see a field of blue and purple shimmers ever so slightly. Prismatic, reflective. Reminds you of the northern lights. Stretches along mountain range like a wall. Life around here is calm. And for once, you feel a deep moment of relief. As you approach the base of the Warden's Tower, you see that there are high walls, about 20-30 feet, around the base of it. Stone, well worked, simple. No great presentation or ostentation. Mostly hewn from rough mountain stone, not worked brick. The rocks are different shapes and sizes. And you can see the magic sits along the western border. There's an eastern gate. The tower itself is 100, maybe 200 feet tall. Very tall. Doesn't lean or bow or shift in the wind. And as the sun is beginning to set through the mountains, and they cast their long shadow across the land, Warden's Towers stand as a beacon. As you approach, you hear booming impossibly loud through some form of magical horn or mouthpiece or megaphone. You there? Declare yourselves.
I'll yell back as loud as I can.
Sure.
Or can I message him?
You can. Yeah, you can see him.
Okay, then yeah, I'll message. I'm not screaming. I'm not a Neanderthal. I'll message back. We're the archivists. We seek shelter and food. I mean, I feel like that's in shelter, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Come in. You'll notice that one of the gates raises the portcullis. As you step in with your carts, there's only enough room for one of the carts to fit at a time. And the gate closes behind the first cart. We'll get you all momentarily. Be calm. And you feel sort of magic kind of dance over you. There's a moment of not quite the full spell, but a comforting, calming moment. The floor underneath you begins to raise ever so slowly. Clicking of chains, rattle. The floor raises about 10 feet. And a secondary door leading in to the courtyard of the Warden's Tower opens. And the first cart is allowed in. Then the second and the third, each following this procedure, each of you experiencing the same shift and moment. The courtyard is large. You can see stables, some pack animals, far more comfortable in here than it is outside. The magic keeps the temperature temperate. While it's still cold, it's like being in a house that's slightly heated while it's freezing outside. You may still want your jackets and sleeves, but it's not bitter, right? Stepping out from the main tower, striding with purpose and confidence, is a middle-aged woman, about 5'9". She has black hair that is just ever so slightly graying at the roots on the right side of her head, up over here. And she's dressed in fine leathers that are clearly functional, but are adorned with some eye emblems that remind that you're pretty sure reflect this place, at least one of them. And as she approaches, welcome, Archivist. I'm Hyla. I am the head warden of this northern tower. Put your things down. Come in. Be at peace for a moment. I'd love to discuss your reasons for being here.
Hyla?
Hyla.
Okay. Like Hyla? Hyla?
Yeah.
Just checking.
Most of the group begins to set about. There are wardens around. Every one of them that you see, even in here, is dressed very much like her. The weapons that they carry remind you very much of Sirach's. They're clearly wildlanders, rangers, trackers, and while they are each performing the jobs that maybe a steward or a servant might do, they remain armed as though they were in the wilds. And each participatory, there seems to be only the loosest of structure as to this organization. The men and women of the Warden's Tower are kind, although oddly socialized. They seem to only hang out or speak with people like themselves. So they're how shall I put it? They're used to speaking in odd shorthand and terms that you all sort of get eventually, but maybe you haven't heard right away.
So it's like Warden Thieves Can't?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not terribly obscure, like it's not trying to hide it. But instead of saying like, take your horses to the stable and we'll feed them, it's like, yeah. I'm like, what? Like, eat stables, yes. Like it's very sort of it lacks a lot of precision. They do know how to speak more appropriate common, but it's out of practice, and you can see them sort of right, of course, yes, you can feed your horses at the stable, yeah, and they sort of get it. I will say one thing you do notice is that Screevers seems to pick up on it very quickly, as he seems just quick and fluent, just chattering back and forth with them.
And he's still here. We can see Screevers.
Yeah, you can see him.
We're fine. Okay.
He's like up on the carts as people are loading or unloading. He's helping direct them to get like the pieces that you guys have to sell, the hides and things you have to trade. Like he's doing that business, and he's trying to make sure that people get set up and fed, and he's telling you make an intelligence check. All of you can. Just flat intelligence.
$12.
13.
7.
12.
Yeah, just looking for a 10 here. 10 or above. He's talking about basically what the refugees, what the captives, former captives, need. Like, he's telling them about the vegetables they need, and them needing like citrus and certain things like that. And the wardens are picking up on it, and yeah. And so with the rest of the party sort of gathering things up, Hyla directs you guys. You seem very much to be the ones most put together. to join her over towards the tower. You are welcome to invite Wyatt or not. It is up to you, or invite or not any of your NPCs. But that's really up to you guys.
I say let's leave him. Wyatt still needs sleep.
Okay.
Or rest and an orange. He needs some orange slices.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we need Raven or Screebers.
Yeah, I think Screebers is doing all right by himself. They all seem to speak the same language.
Yeah, and we don't, as far as we know, there's not an alchemy lab or anything that Raven can play with here, so. It's just us, the most put together of the group.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that says a lot.
Hyla leads you to the tower. The tower's got a large base. It is less like the Wizard's Tower that you have experienced before, where it's maybe a room or two on the climb up. It's a little more. There seems to be like a central room, a large staircase that will lead up. It is a bigger staircase than most towers. It's two people could go up side by side, right? And each floor, they seem to have like an offshoot of about 3 or 4 rooms. So that sort of tower structure kind of corkscrews up. At least that's the impression you get from the base. As you enter the main chamber of the tower, Isla calls your attention to the room across the way. Large wooden doors, again, simple but very well made. Far better than you would expect these wildlanders to be able to make. Follow me this way. And as you walk through the chamber, you can see large murals have been painted on these walls. And they catch your attention in very interesting ways. Some of them depict dragon attacks. Some of them depict, fights with these dragons. Others show wild apparitions and sort of horrific beasts and tentacled monsters, each sort of being beaten back by different figures. The art is very symbolic, far more than it is like lifelike or representational, right? It is, you can see the different sort of races depicted in different ways. There are certain figures that do repeat themselves. Would you guys, are you sticking with Hyla, or are you stopping to examine these further?
I'm still following.
I will slow down a hair just to kind of look at everything.
Okay. Make an investigation check for me, Talroth. What about you, Treasure Saride?
I'm gonna keep going.
I also wanted to take a look at the art because it's cool.
It is very cool. Yeah, investigation check from you two.
Nat 20 for a 26.
Okay.
Beautiful.
15.
15. Okay. I will say there is one moment. Treasure, you pick up on there's a large theme at the largest ones. It looks like these were sort of started at the base, and then they kind of flow up the later into kind of history that they go. There are smaller sections and things, and this floor is actually very tall. It's a vaulted ceiling for sure. It's 20-ish feet tall, and the murals are not the full wall. They're I guess like probably large mirror size, and then they sort of patch and piece together. Treasure, you there's definitely a theme or a section of these that are very much dedicated to the to a campaign, almost like reading a comic book. You can see sort of the different panels, right? A long campaign. It is a good chunk of this history about combating dragons, and sort of the last bit of that, the last panel you sort of see is a couple of figures erecting the towers and the magic wall along this mountain range. Talroth, you catch all of that, you sort of see that, but something else catches your eyes. There is a single cell, let's call it, sticking with that comic book figure, a single panel where this sort of looming, shadowy figure who's bespectacled, and as you look close to him, you can see always represented one of the eyes covered in these mathematical equations. Sits in the background behind these this band of centaurs, and you can. It's almost as though he controls them as puppets, right? You can see the shadowy strings sort of stretch from his fingers, and you can see as they travel across the panel the places that they have left in ruins, and one of which sort of reminds you of home in a small way. You can tell that their ultimate goal was a grander city, and there's another figure, one of these prominent people that seems to feature throughout these stories, atop a throne, sitting amongst scrolls and books and fancy folk, as best you can put it. But the last image is of that city burning. And as in the fire, you can tell, almost hidden, there is a scale, shattered, twisted to one side. That type of scale, yes. Noticing that she's lost a few of you, Hyla will... hello? Would you... This way, please.
Oh, sorry. Just admiring the art. It's very nice.
Apologies for that. Got a little distracted.
That's all right. Come on. As she brings you in, it's a meeting room, dining room. There's some maps of Lictrocked up. There seems to be reports. So she gathers up a stack of papers and pushes them off to one of the side tables. And she'll sit and sort of kick her feet up onto the table, whetstone with her hunter's knife. It's more out of habit than any attempt to threaten or impress you all in any way. And she gives it a couple of... She'll check it, right? Oh, right. So, where are you all headed? Or what is your intent beyond these mountains? I assume that's why you've come. That's, you'll forgive me, the only reason anyone comes, to be honest.
Well, it's not a problem there, but we got a few things that are taking the top of our priorities list. At least, well, the most important one at the moment, we got a few people who might need a bit of rest and some good food and warm place to stay after, well, to put it bluntly, got their ass kicked by some hobgoblins.
Right. I remember some group of travelers came by here a month and a half or so ago, saying they'd been set upon some days earlier. I'm glad to hear they survived.
As are we. And then we need to follow those of us that have gone on ahead into the mountains.
Well, I'm not sure I can offer much assistance in that regard. We, followers of the Warden, the Watchful Eye, offer our services to escort people through the mountains as best we can. We don't go terribly far, but I do remember, if they are of the same party, they had forsaken our office. They had their own guides, some wilders that knew their own paths, they said. So, I can only offer what would be normal, simple tracking, but I'd still suggest perhaps taking a guide with you. The mountains are treacherous, and ever more so the closer we come to winter.
Thank you. That would be quite helpful. We appreciate it.
Seeing as how we're new to this neck of the woods, how's it like here in terms of being able to restock on some supplies and maybe do a bit of trade? We came across some elk, some boar. We got a couple things that might be of interest, some pelts, antlers, or such.
We get most of our goods from the southern towers that stretch along the mountain range, but it is enough that we can trade. We do keep well stocked for the winter, especially for errant travelers. We do occasionally, once the snows begin to set in, find many people lost in these northern reaches. So we do our best to help them. So yeah, we should have basics for you. I can't offer to anything terribly fancy, but we do gain most of our items from more temperate and civilized lands. So yes, that's very well and good. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask again, your friends that went ahead of you were rather tight-lipped on their final destination. It's not, how shall I say? We have very focused goals here. We have no desire to steal some great treasure or discovery from anyone. But if it's dangerous, we'd really appreciate it if you were forthcoming with it.
Can I insight check her?
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to as well, just letting you know.
9.
Okay.
For some reason, I trust her. I'm not going to check.
Great.
Dirty 20.
13.
I will say, there's something uncomfortable about her conversation that Saride and Treasure sort of pick up on. Talroth, you piece together that she's doing her best to be diplomatic, and she's usually probably not. You understand she's uncomfortable because this is not really her favorite part of the job, and probably not what she signed up for. As far as her lying about not wanting to steal treasure from you guys, that's true. She has whatever sort of, she's almost weary at the idea, and you all can kind of pick up on that, and you kind of get the idea that, one, most people that come here are going into the mountains. She probably doesn't see a lot of people come back, and each of them are probably going for some treasure or relic or something. And she's a little, I'm gonna say jaded, but I'm not sure that's the right word. She's a little unimpressed. She's a little like, I mean, if you want to throw your life away on it, that's fine. But she seems to have much greater concerns or thoughts about some things.
Well, I did mention that there were a few reasons for us for coming here. The first one being, well, compatriots who went on ahead, and also people who needed rescuing from them hobgoblins. Another reason that we need to head into the mountains, or more specifically, at least why I wanted to come here, there is somebody that I'm looking for. And there's a possibility that he may have run off into the mountains, or at least passed by here. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know how long ago it would have been, but hey, anything's worth a shot of asking.
Saride looks genuinely shocked that he's bringing this up.
If you have a name, I can send a word to the other towers. We can check along the line if he has stopped in at any of them. I can find out if it's worth it to you.
Yeah, his name's No. I know him as Cass. If he's going by his actual name, Kazkoth.
Kazkoth. All right. Fairly unique name.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I ran across him. Not sure if he'd be using that or something else, but looks similar to me. Probably a little more fair skin, but big old blonde hair instead.
All right. It should take about a day or two to get word to all of the towers and back. But I can do that. No problem.
Actually, I was curious if, you say you have, rangers who tend to know the mountains pretty well. Most of our maps that we've, found have gone up to this mountain, here, and not really beyond. Would you have any sketchings or at least rudimentary maps of what may lie beyond these mountains?
Yes, I can provide you with that, although, much of it is conjecture, rumor, hearsay. We don't get much information coming eastward from the west. And much of it is ancient knowledge at this point. But I'll be happy to share with you what I have. I would caution you that it is, at best, about 3 days past here. Beyond that, it's guess.
Well, if you can give us, as you said, if you give us what you can, on our way back, we'll share what we've filled in throughout our journey.
She smiles, a sarcastic sort of smile. That would be lovely.
Well, would it be worth anything to you if we did manage to come back? Maybe put a friendly wager on it?
Sure. What would you like to wager?
I'll keep it friendly. Let's say 10 gold, we all make it back.
Well, done. But, how do I get paid? If you go and you don't come back, I get nothing.
I'll take 10 gold out of a pouch and just drop it on the table.
All right.
So we come back, I get that, plus another 10. Nice and easy, right?
Nice and easy.
Not to be rude or anything, but it suddenly occurred to me that we might actually have a band of hobgoblins following us here. That might just be something you want on your radar.
Some of the hobgoblins we do business with will never attack this tower. If they are the same, they may wait for you on the western front. If they are not, they'll avoid this place. These towers have stood against far greater dangers than hobgoblin incursions, and against far more than just those hobgoblins. The key to the west is through these towers.
Because Talroth was very forthcoming about Kaz, so this is your fault. You have been very kind and polite to a point. We're on our way to the forge.
She looks a little confused when you say that, and the forge.
The forge. I think you have to make an emphasis on the right word.
Oh, all right. That's a new one. I'll say I've never heard of anyone pursuing that particular legend through our gates. So you're already a bit of a novelty. Well done. I wish I had more information to offer. Many times when treasure hunters or whomever comes wandering through our way, and we do our best to be honest with them. about the chances they have of finding what they seek. People have gone looking for lost cities or ancient beasts and hunting wild devastators and all sorts of things like that. And I've never seen one come back successfully. And I've seen very few come back at all. And the Forge is a legend. I didn't know it sat to the west. My understanding was it was somewhere in the lands of, well, the civil lands. But apparently you have greater information.
Are the civil lands where we came from?
You've never heard them called that, but by context, you can infer that. Yeah.
You thought the Forge was east.
Well, I don't know why it would be to the west. Talking about the Forge that made the Arms of the Fated, right? Something like that.
You?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's legend. I'm assuming the Forge. Many.
Is it?
Go ahead.
Does her saying "Arms of the Fated" does that set anything off? Like, I know we know what they are, and like, but as far as I know, the only people that know what they are the ones that have them.
You have not run into many people that do know what they are. So she seems to speak a bit like she has at least some working knowledge of the subject.
Have you seen any Arms of the Fated then?
Oh no. I haven't seen any. I don't think I'd know if I did. But we trade in tales as often as we do goods here, as we've heard quite a few stories of them and their wielders, and they were, best I can understand, people were tired of the great game and wanted to be more than mere pawns. They wanted to be players, I suppose. And so somebody set out and made them, best I can understand.
Sorry to interrupt there, but that choice of phrasing you used, the great game. I've heard that one come up a couple times in different stores and tales and such. Anything you might know about that? You might be able to fill in some gaps with, at least for our sake.
Oh. Oh. Yeah. I can tell you of the great game. I don't think it'll make you feel terribly comforted or, how shall I put this, reassured. But there is a bit of peace in knowing your destiny, right? I find that. That's how I get through the day. That's how I get through most days.
At this point, Talroth will just be absently, just with one hand, just kind of playing with the deck of cards in the pouch.
What do you know of the ancient days of this world? All right, that's fine.
Yeah, bit of reading here and there, mostly stories and rumors.
There were days before civilization as we understand it, before our oldest races. He gestures to Talroth and to Sir Ride. Right. Days and times that extended before. Most scholars believe that those days were filled with ancient beasts, grand creatures, things of miraculous design. And Ligdrocht had its own ancient gods that had abandoned it days before civilization arrived. They created wonders that warped the world around them. They were the brother gods who protected this land from odd things beyond the stars. But our story begins when the brother gods had lost interest in this world. They had moved on. They left behind some of their facilities and some of their magics, skills. And some of their servants. Those servants were distant. They didn't have the creativity that others did. And so out of those first few generations, before elves were elves on this land, before humans were humans, when there was but humanoid, I suppose, I gathered a group of ambitious players. And realized they were alone. That their prayers were no longer answered. That the brother gods were not returning, and nor were the ancient evils that they had warded away. And so the question became, what to do with this land? And they all had varying philosophies and ideas and goals. And so they came to a table. A great table that mapped the world and the land across it. And they began to play what is known as the Great Game. The Great Game is the actions of these avatars. It is their goal to develop the world according to their philosophy, to influence the behaviors of the younger races that came after, to best each other, to defeat each other, to ally and break apart, and ultimately try to see who wins. In reality, they are the only ones making decisions for, well, anyone in the lands of Ligdrocht. You see, the game started here. And everyone that is here feels the ripple of their actions. You see, it takes mighty creatures of soul, character, to stand against their will. The dragons were the last to try, and the players cast them out of their own land. Ligdrocht cast them to the west. That's what lies behind the mountains. The dragons, last of their societies. True dragonborn, their supplicants and faithful. The board of the game has been set in the civilized lands. Of course, there are those who would try to expand the playing field. It's one of tyranny's favorite tactics. He succeeded to the south and to the north. Never to the east, though. Never to the east. There were figures among the players that would keep order and balance, although most recent of them has, well, failed, passed, to be reincarnated for sure. Sometimes the players, when they truly feel that a player has been a bad sport, they might banish them from the table, only to reinvite them if the majority were to agree. It's very odd. A great game. You're never quite sure what any of them necessarily want, or why they want it. We do our best to chronicle what we can. You may have noticed our paintings down below. Although a lot of that is hearsay. I'm sorry, please. I continue to interrupt you. Tell me.
No. I didn't want to interrupt such a good story. Well, at least two things that I at least wanted to ask about. The first one, well, the second one being those murals, because at least towards the end, something there was a little interesting for me, specifically a little more of a personal note.
Oh.
But the first one, there was a story I heard about some great old dragon. Now, as I'm getting into this part, I'm just going to eye her reaction, see if there's any like change in tone. So like, I don't know if I have to make an insight or a perception check.
Okay. Yeah, it will probably be an insight check. Go ahead.
Yeah, because, there was a story I heard about, and something about this Larashen or Lara Shen, some big old hoity-toity dragon, had some tower way out, like in the south or something.
It seems vaguely on the edge of her memory, but she doesn't seem to know anything specific about it. Lara Shen, you say? We could check the archives. They might have something there.
And what I was looking for was any sort of like hint of recollection, or if she like, oh, but then try to hide it, but I'm guessing not.
No, I don't. You don't even need to make the check. She's not trying to hide anything. You don't see her. She does not have a tremendous recollection. The phrasing La Rashen seems vaguely familiar, and as she said, she's willing to check whatever records or archives they have.
Sarai is already pretty pale because she's in winter. She turns even paler and just finds somewhere to sit down.
Yeah, there are chairs about. She kind of looks at you, but is not. If you're gonna pass out, you're gonna pass out. And Hyla is not terribly worried about you.
Apologies for our companions.
No apologies necessary.
It's been a long day. We had some bad elk. It didn't agree with some of us.
I understand. It's also very unsettling to be told that literally everything you're doing is being influenced by someone for a reason you have no control over.
Treasure now wonders about a lot of things and contemplates flipping off the sky.
Do you look to the sky?
Yep. Just look up, contemplating it.
Oh, that's a good insight. As you do, Hyla sort of watches you look up. Damn it, new girl. Why are you looking at Chicago? No, No, I'm so sorry, darling. They're not up there. They're not gods. It'd be easier if they were. Gods at least give you powers or have a book, usually. Sometimes a tablet or two. They sort of tell you what they want. No, the danger with the avatars, the danger with the players, is while they are inscrutable, they're all too human.
We're well aware.
Oh.
We've met them.
Have you? Which ones?
Yeah, Ryan's starting to get irritated with this little flippant woman behind her chair. How dare you?
Which ones?
Did we ever get Burns' real name? Or is Burns...
Well, Burns isn't an avatar. He's a Deva.
No, I know, but he's a member. He's one of them. Like, he's... Does he have a name besides Burns that... Do we even ask? We have a tendency to not ask people. We found one of the custodians for one of the Twin Gods labs.
Really? Where was that?
East.
Well, I know it's not west.
I'm not very good with maps. You'll have to forgive me. It's somewhere that way.
I'll start pulling out the maps that Talroth would have drawn up of the entire journey, and just, with your permission, and lay it on the table.
Please.
But I would also take out the deck of cards and just kind of sit it in front of me also.
She does recognize the cards. She looks at it, she recognizes it, she moves past it.
And I will put them away at that point.
Okay. I understand if you don't want to tell me any more than you already have. You don't have to. It won't impact how much I help you or the information I give you, but do know getting people killed is not why I'm here.
Then what else do you want to know?
Well, if you'd like to tell me about the lab or any of the avatars that you've run into, I could add it to the wall.
Run into the Spelljack. We've run into the Awful.
She holds for a moment. As you say them, she kind of like Rolodex flips, kind of tries to mind palace her way to remembering things about them. She gets like a piece of paper, and you can. She's writing clearly, right? Spelljack. The Awful.
The Awful, and he really is. We also spent the night next door to the Diabolic.
Oh.
Now, truth be told, the Awful actually wasn't so bad. He was a very consummate professional. The Diabolic, though.
He was terrible.
Well, I had no issues with him.
That's my point.
We met Velxer, if that counts for anything.
The Beholder.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So
she actually beat him in a game of strip poker.
Well, that is impressive. Doesn't quite go on the mural, unfortunately, but that is very impressive. So, you ran into a steward of the twin brothers. You met the Spelljack the awful. Of course, he would use that name.
Why?
The names of the players aren't exclusively chosen by themselves, or sometimes they're chosen by people. Sometimes they're given to them by the other players. Come here, I'll show you. She stands up.
Treasure's 100% curious now. She's going.
she stands up and starts to take you guys through the mural room, and kind of she keeps pointing out the figures. And you're starting to be able to gather which ones are which, and which symbols and sort of like representational kind of details matches each one. And she's going through these events, and here you see him the night before this wonderful battle, poisoning the food of the greater army. As best I can tell, and unfortunately, we don't get a lot of interpretive guidance, I would say. But the awful usually stands in opposition of whatever most of the players want. The perpetual underdog and always willing to screw with and tip the odds into his particular choice. As best we can tell, his goal, if any of these players have one, is to keep the game going. Never stop.
Sarai just slow burn looks at Talroth when she describes Apple.
I am pointedly not looking at Sarai.
Treasure's just grinning like an idiot because she's the one that handed over the key.
No, I think he's cool. I think he's totally fine. Apple's nice. I like him.
Hey, he got us in and out. All right, so turning back to Hyla. Well, I did mention there was something in this room that caught my own personal attention, and I'll just point over to that part of the mural that looked like the village that was burning with the broken scales. The one that you said had reminded Talroth of his home village.
Yeah. Oh. What is that? That would be... Ah, right. That is the destruction of Barcliff, the lands that surrounded it. So, there, she points to the shadowy figure. Okay. That is the tactician. He is the one that is most elusive, as far as we can tell. Sort of. Rarely showing himself as a public figure. Rarely known to the people that he influences. Constantly making moves by moving the smallest of pieces possible. This particular conflict, the architect set about a roving centaur horde across the southern lands to unseat the civilized. With the peoples of the Republic coming in, there was an unknown number of pieces entering the board, and the civilized, who spends most of their time elevating races and creating vast cities and networks and improving civilizations, developing them, be more difficult to manipulate. She was poised to benefit the greatest from the Republic's arrival. But you must have a civilization to barter with a civilization. And the tactician removed that particular piece from the board.
Under my breath, I'm saying, that ain't the only thing he removed.
Have you... I'm sorry, we have, I think, a great deal to discuss. Perhaps we could continue this tomorrow or after some dinner or something.
Sure. I find that perfectly acceptable. I caution you. Don't let this break you. Easy to do. The lands of Lickdrock, and she'll show you the map. And it's the map that you guys have been on, those two pieces, and it extends to the south and to the north. Pretty far. From the sea to the mountains is their game board. In the wild lands of the west, there is no fate or destiny. Much like to the east, in the lands of Rotem, or further south. The Avatars limited their playing field, although the tyranny expanded it farther to the north and to the south. Some of their players travel abroad. There are places to go to be free of their game. And there are many lives untouched by them. Unfortunately, by your own account, it doesn't seem like yours are them. Don't let it break you. It can be maddening. I will happily share whatever tales we have of players and their great game, and whatever else information I have, but again, paintings, rumors, stories, mostly. Eat, rest, sort yourselves, and I'll be here when you're ready.
That is mighty kind of you. And I'm sure we'll be coming back with quite a few questions. And especially with the information we've been asking for, because at the risk of sounding like a cliche, it seems that there's a lot of paths that are coming together.
As usually do. Enjoy your dinner, and she'll just step away. Is there anything you guys would like to say to each other before we call it a night?
Saride, you okay?
No.
Treasure's just walking behind her, half lifting her in a hug, so it's almost like when one of those little kids walks with like a doll.
There's a problem. I know there is. It's a damn chess set. But I've already started it, haven't I? It's not finished.
Well, the game was incomplete when we found it in the tower, so you might be okay. And I'm gonna pull out the deck of cards and just start shuffling that circular deck.
You may be overthinking it. I mean, okay. The chess, we're not talking a chess set, we're talking a map. Remember she mentioned a big old map. It does not look like a chess set at all. And at least what I know of chest, there's way more than 13 pieces.
Not a normal chess set, no. But it's been rebuilding itself. It's not normal dragon chess anymore. And the pieces, they're changing too. They look like us. And who knows what'll happen by the time I get back there? How many more pieces there'll be? But you really want me to think that even if it was just the normal pieces, the fact that they've changed to look like us isn't a sign of something.
Maybe not. Hopefully not.
I know you don't believe that, neither do I. This is fucked. Oh.
There is not enough alcohol in either of our systems for this to be fully fucked yet.
I do have one potentially important question that may come up in the future. Anybody know how to cook a dragon?
Cook a dragon? What?
Well, if we're heading west and there's dragons out there, I mean, we got to be prepared on maybe having to eat one. I mean, you never know.
Darling, we got to kill it first.
And?
Is it anything like T-Rex, but with wings?
I mean, if Screebus was the size of a T-Rex and that T-Rex weren't so bad, I mean, at least that's what I'm thinking. Just a bigger Screebus.
Oh my god, we're going to die.
And on that note, we're going to say good night. Thank you guys so much for playing. We love and appreciate each and every one of you. We are going to say good night. Just so you know, we should have a creative stream tomorrow night. We've got Malifaux Through the Breach coming up on Wednesday, Archivist on Thursday, Diablo happening on Friday, and then I believe Whisper is back this Sunday with some video gaming, but Disasters in Danger will be back next week. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We will see you next time. But until then, be cool.